Champions for Hire.
Welcome back to James for Hire. I'm Matthew Perry with Jamil King, and we are back for the AL Central projections and predictions. This division had a lot of work done in the offseason, both good and bad, and we're here to talk to you about it. So let's get right into it. We'll start with the division-winning Minnesota Twins. They finished 36-24 last year, losing in the wild card to the Astros. Guys they brought in: Hansel Robles, Jay Happ, Andrelton Simmons, Alex Colomé, and Matt Shoemaker. Guys that left: Sergio Romo, Jake Odorizzi, who's yet to be re-signed, Rich Hill, Trevor May, Marvin Gonzalez, and Eddie Rosario. What are your thoughts on their offseason?
I still love this team. I know there's a lot of talk about the White Sox coming on taking their title, but I still have the Twins winning this division. I still think their lineup, top to bottom, is one of the best in the league. You know, you add Anderson Simmons up the middle. You get arguably the best defensive shortstop. You can play around with Polanco now, whose bat will still play. I really like this team. They lost a little bit on the starting pitching side, but I think they're going to have enough to get the job done with the way this offense plays. I mean, just look at some of the guys in their lineup that they're going to hit 30 bombs. Kepler, Donaldson, Cruz, Sano. It's three guys right there that are probably going to do it. Killaroff has the power potential to be a 30 guy himself. Buxton can run you a sneaky number if he can stay healthy. I think this team is really deep offensively, and I think it's going to be really hard to stop.
Yeah, this team definitely has the White Sox on their tail right now, especially after the offseason they had. We'll get into them next. But, yeah, the lineup's still very good in Minnesota. I mean, Max Kepler is fantastic. Josh Donaldson, he's proven himself. Nelson Cruz coming back on a one-year deal is huge. Miguel Sano had a big comeback year last year. Alex Kirilloff will see his first full season in the bigs. Questionable on the projected lineup, Ryan Jeffers starting over Mitch Garver. Garver had a down year last year, but I do still think that Garver's that kind of guy. I still really believe in him. I'd put him starting over Jeffers, but I do think he'll earn the spot back. The addition of Anderson Simmons was nice. That kind of pushes Jorge Polanco to the bench, but Polanco's a utility guy. He's also a switch hitter, so definitely plenty of spots for him to go in every now and then. The pitching is good. I'll give it that. Plenty of veterans in the bullpen, guys like Rogers, Duffy, Robles, Colomé. Good bullpen. I like the rotation. Barrios is fantastic. Maeda had a really good year last year. Pineda has had his ups and downs. Jay Happ was not great with the Yankees last year. And Matt Shoemaker has also had his ups and downs, to say the least. Not re-signing Jake Odorizzi was questionable, and Odorizzi still sits as a free agent. I don't know why a team hasn't signed him yet. Hopefully the Twins bring him back somehow. I do think that Odorizzi would be a great help to the rotation, especially filling one of those bottom three spots, because after Barrios and Maeda, it's not that special. So I guess we'll see if they could bring him back, or at least somebody, because I do think the rotation needs work. Pacoda, the projections for them, they have them at 91 wins. Jamil, what are your thoughts on that? Over
Sorry, I'm going to pencil them in slightly over. I'm having them like around the 93 win area. I think they're going to be able to beat up on the other teams in this division, mainly the Tigers and the Royals. Even though Royals improved, I think the Twins lineup will overpower theirs. And I think they'll get the best of the Indians here and there, but the Indians pitching is still pretty decent to combat their lineup.
Yeah, this isn't the best division, so that does help them. I do think they'll be able to win most of their games against teams like the Tigers and the Indians and even the Royals. The White Sox will give them some trouble. So I think 91-71, what Pacoda projected, isn't a bad projection, really. I think they'll sit around the 91 mark. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go slightly under, maybe 89, 88 games. The division's not tight, but the record could show up towards the top how tight it can be. I think they'll just miss that 91 mark. But the Twins are still a very good team, and as long as they don't face the Yankees in the playoffs, they always have a chance. Moving on to the Chicago White Sox, who finished 35-25 before losing in the wild card to the A's. They had a great offseason, in my opinion. They brought in Lynn from the Rangers. Liam Hendricks was big. That really helps their bullpen. Adam Eaton is back, little reunion in Chicago. And then Tim Beckham and Jonathan Lucroy on minor league deals. Why not give the veteran guys a shot? Guys that left. Yolmer Sanchez is off to the Orioles. Dane Dunning was traded in the trade to the Rangers, the Lance Lynn trade. He was one of their better pitching prospects. Edwin Encarnacion was not brought back. He's up there in age anyway. Colome, who we just mentioned, off to Minnesota, leaving Chicago. James McCann is now a Met, and then Nomar Mazara also left Chicago. What are your thoughts on the Sox?
Yeah, I really like a lot of pieces on this team. I think they have a good mix of young and veteran pitching in the rotation. I love bringing in Hendricks to solidify the back end, and this lineup is young and hungry. I like a lot of things about this team. I think they're definitely going to be up there fighting the Twins for the division lead, and they're going to be up there for that second wild card spot.
Yeah, a lot of things to be excited about if you're a White Sox fan. I mean, you have a newer, younger uh, lineup, which hasn't been said for White Sox fans in quite some time, probably since the beginning of Paul Konerko's career. Plenty of exciting guys to pay attention to: Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Moncada, Jose Abreu's coming off an MVP year, Yasmani Grandal, a top 5 catcher in the league, Tim Anderson, one of the best bat flippers in the league and one of the most exciting players to watch. Nick Madrigal, his first season up in the bigs, that'll be exciting. The rotation: Lucas Giolito coming off a no-hitter, hit the best year of his career. Dallas Keuchel, what more can he give? That's a question mark, but you got to be somewhat confident in him. He's shown that he can do it in the past. Lance Lynn, a great trade there, bringing him in. He's shown that he can be a quality starter. He was the Rangers ace last year. Dylan Cease, I believe is his first complete year in the bigs. If not, then his second. He still has a little bit to prove, in my opinion, but I think he'll get there. And then Carlos Rodon, who has been with the White Sox for a little bit, he's all right. He's mid-tier. The pen, though, I really like the pen. Actually, one of the only pens in the league, I'd say, with a lot of youth. I mean, Cody Hewer, Michael Kopech, he'll be starting in the bullpen most likely. Garrett Crochet, who really impressed me last season, the back half of last year. And then the signing of Liam Hendricks, which absolutely fantastic. He's coming off probably the best year of his career as well. And the farm system still looks good in Chicago. So they've set themselves up for success. Pacoda has them at 83 wins, which in my opinion is a little low, but what do you think, Jamil? Over or
Yeah, I definitely think that is a low number. They're definitely going to be up there in the high 80s, low 90s, I think, battling in that division lead. For all the talk about this team, that's a pretty interesting projection they got given to them, but I think they're definitely going to smash that over.
Yeah, the projection's way off in my opinion. I do think they'll be closer to 90 games, and like we said, they'll be fighting with the Twins for that division lead. I don't see what would make them think 83. I mean, maybe because there's several rookies here who haven't been, trusted yet with an MLB season. They haven't proved themselves, but they have plenty of guys who have. And I mean, I think this team's ready, the most ready they've been in quite some time. Like I said, a lot to be excited about if you're a White Sox fan. Definitely taking over. Expect around 90 games for this team. Moving to the Indians, who disappointed all of their fans this offseason when they traded Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco to the Mets. They brought back Andres Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario. I guess that's all right. Definitely not what Indians fans are looking for. Eddie Rosario has been brought in. Heath Hembry, a minor league deal. I think he'll wind up making the major league team. And then Brian Shaw, a veteran who spent time with them in the past. He also got a minor league deal. By the way, they finished 35-25, lost the wild card in the wild card to the Yankees, as expected. The guys that left, they traded Adam Simber to the Marlins. Very questionable there. Simber was one of their better relievers last season. As mentioned, Lindor and Carrasco, obviously. Brad Hand, they let walk. They put him on waivers, I believe. They put him on waivers, if I'm not mistaken. They let Carlos Santana walk, Sandy Leon, and Tyler Naquin, all gone, all staples of their lineup for the past few years are gone, just like that. Questionable ownership decisions by the Indians, but what are your thoughts on their offseason?
Obviously, you're never a good offseason when you have to trade your best player. And one of your best players, arguably one of the best players at the most premier position in the league. Obviously losing Lindor is going to hurt them, but their pitching is still really phenomenal. Their lineup, they're obviously going to have to, fix on the fly after trading their best player. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a disappointing season in Cleveland, but I don't think all hope is necessarily lost with this team.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right, but they're not the playoff team we've seen. They're not the team that made it to the World Series just, almost 5 years ago. There's still some all right pieces. Jose Ramirez, hopefully they don't get rid of him because I don't know what Indians fans will do without him and Shane Bieber at this point. Bringing in Eddie Rosario was nice. I was honestly rooting for the Yankees to sign someone like him to fill left field, but Frazier's got that anyway. That's a great signing by the Indians. But other than that, I mean, Andres Jimenez, we haven't seen what he can do yet on the big league level. He's slated to be their shortstop over Ahmed Rosario, who being as a bench piece is solid. I mean, I have no complaints there, but there's not much else to be excited about with this lineup. Rotation's good. Rotation's nice and young. Shane Bieber obviously coming off a great year. Zach Plesac, Aaron Savali both proved that they had something to give last year. Tristan McKenzie, I'd like to see more from him this season. I feel like what we saw last season was too limited. I want to see him get some more legitimate starts and get things going. Same goes for Logan Allen, who's slated to be their 5. Look out for Nolan Jones. He could play corners on the infield and I think left field, something like that. He can really bring some power to this offense if they call him up. And in the pen, James Karinchak, Cal Quantrill, brought back Oliver Perez, who's so old now, but he could still get it done. It seems he keeps getting the contracts. So, like you said, it's not super, but it's okay. Pacoda has them at 85. They have them above the White Sox, which is ludicrous. But what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely surprised they gave him 85. I'd also watch out for Daniel Johnson. They were a guy they were really high on last year, but no minor leagues. Really hurt. Someone like him, he got called up, only played like 2 games. I think it's someone that can provide some pop and some good defense in the corner outfields as well for this team. But yeah, I think 85. Honestly, I don't mind 85. I think they'll finish a little bit lower, but the problem I have with 85 is that it's over the White Sox, which I don't get, especially after you lose your best player. So I'm gonna have them around the mid 80s. But I'm gonna go like, I don't know. I kind of want to say they're gonna hit that mark exactly, but I'm gonna go a little under.
Yeah, I think the projection is good for them. The fact that it's above the White Sox is the ridiculous part. I'm gonna take under as well. I do think that they'll be over 500, not by much, but they can get something done. Maybe a wild card spot if things get weird for other divisions. I don't know. I do think if there's gonna be a third place team taking a wild card spot, it's gonna be the Blue Jays in the AL East. But anything can happen. It's baseball, so I do think they could do something. Don't expect them to go deep. And definitely don't expect them to finish higher than the White Sox. I'm going to take the under on that. Moving to the Kansas City Royals, who finished 26-34, missing the playoffs. I like the moves they made this offseason. Andrew Benintendi, they acquired from the Red Sox. Mike Minor, Michael A. Taylor, Carlos Santana, Irvin Santana on a minor league deal. Hanser Alberto, one of the best offensive players for the Orioles last season. He's on a minor league deal. And then veteran relievers Wade Davis and Brad Brock also getting minor league deals. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it catered to a lot of their issues. Guys that left, not many. Franchi Cordero in the Red Sox trade. Alex Gordon, longtime Royal, not brought back. Same goes for Mike Montgomery. And then Michael Franco, they let walk, which is here nor there. What were your thoughts on the offseason, specifically the Benintendi trade?
I love the Benintendi trade for the Royals. You get a guy that has shown he can hit good in the majors. Obviously he's been a little bit of a funk, but yeah, it's proven he has what it takes. You add him to this lineup with a lot of other veterans. You have a lot of hard outs in this lineup now. I think you got a good mix of power and guys that can get on base. I like a lot of the additions they made on the offense for this team. Depending how many wins they get will be the pitching. How consistent will they get? Can they get consistent innings and high leverage outs, which is the problem for a lot of teams that are in this position of coming out of the rebuild and trying to get competitive again.
Yeah, I mean, the Royals, I think, are on the way up. It wouldn't shock me, and this might be a hot take, it wouldn't shock me if they finished higher than the Indians. Based on the off seasons, based on things that have been addressed, I think the Royals handled a lot better than the Indians. Obviously, the Royals didn't trade their franchise player. That, I guess, would be Salvi Perez or Whit Merrifield, but they didn't do that. So automatically, it's a better offseason for them. The lineup's really coming together. Nicky Lopez is the only downside to that. I don't think he's a very good offensive player. He's speedy, but I don't like him there. If you could bring Hanser Alberto on, who's currently a non-roster invitee, move some things around on that infield, put Hanser Alberto at third base, maybe move Hunter Dozier to second. I really like it. Hunter Dozier's got an extension. Jorge Soler really came into his own after struggling early in his career at the Cubs. He's now a big power guy. Carlos Santana, always pretty consistent with average. Salvador Perez, if he could stay healthy, is a fantastic catcher. Benintendi probably has the most to prove on this team. Obviously, the Red Sox did not believe in him enough to hold on to him, wound up trading him to the surprise of many, but it's comeback season, so let's see what he can do. I think he'll be able to make a comeback from this. And then Whit Merrifield, who's practically one of the captains on this team at this point, he's fantastic, pretty much almost a 5-tool player. I love what I see from him every year. The rotation has a lot of potential. Danny Duffy, solid vet at the 1, and then you got a couple. What do you want to call it? A couple prospects in there, I guess you could say. Brad Keller and Brady Singer. I'm really excited for Brady Singer. He showed a lot of promise last season. Had a few really, really impressive starts. Bringing in Mike Minor was great. He showed he could still throw. I believe he was on the Rangers last season, and didn't do too bad. And then Chris Bubich is the 5 starter. Not too familiar with him, but I'm willing to learn, and hopefully he impresses me. What are your thoughts on the pitching staff?
Yeah, I definitely want to see what Brady Singer can do in his first full season. Former top pick for them. He's got really, really good stuff. We've seen professionalism at Danny Duff. We've seen what he can do. I'm with you with Chris Bubich. I don't know too much about him, but we'll see what he can do for this rotation. I think this rotation will get hit around a little bit, but I think they're decent enough to get them some wins this season.
Yeah, I also think they could be decent enough to get them some wins, but Pacoda does not seem to agree with us. Their projection 71 wins, 71 for the Royals, over or under. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over for them. I think they'll be able to hit the high 70s.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I think at least 75 wins. 71, 91 is just I don't know where that came from. I guess maybe they don't trust the pitching staff, which is fair, but I don't know. I like this Royals team, dude. I'm kind of high on them, higher than I am on the Indians. I know I said, what did I say for the Indians? Like around 500. I think the Royals have a chance at 500. I think they can do it. Do not be surprised if we're in October. The Royals aren't there, but they hit the 500 mark. You come back to me. I said it here first.
That 71 wins is 2 over the Orioles.
Yeah, see, that's tough. Like you compare the Orioles and the Royals, and it's like night and day. I mean, the Royals are much more, they're not a complete team, but they're much more complete than the Orioles. The Orioles have
Yeah.
no arms at all. Their offenses are kind of similar, although I do think the Royals do have a better offense. Yeah, it's odd, but I know the projections do fluctuate. So that's what we have now. Who knows what'll happen April 1st? The projections could look a little different on Baseball Prospectus. We'll wrap things up with the Detroit Tigers, who finished 23-35, missing the playoffs, of course. Guys, they brought in Jose Urena, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s least favorite guy. Robbie Grossman, a minor league deal for Derek Holland. Wilson Ramos, he's still here. He's still getting it done. Yeah, he might be the starting catcher on opening day for the Tigers. Renato Nunez got a minor league deal. He was one of the better offensive players for the O's last year. Nomar Mazara found a home in Detroit, as did Julio Teheran on a minor league deal. Guys that left, not many. Travis Demeritte, Jordan Zimmerman, who was just wasting their money anyway. Austin Romine off to the Cubs, and then Ivan Nova is gone. I believe he's still a free agent. What are your thoughts on the Tigers?
It's gonna be another rough year in Detroit, but slowly but surely, the rough times will be over and they will be competing again. Last year they had the number 1 overall pick. This year they're going to be hovering around there again, and after this season they'll probably be around there next year. But they have a lot of exciting prospects, which we'll get to in a little bit. As far as this lineup goes, Kenny Ardio, he was good last year. He can swing it. Miggy is Miggy, even though he's getting older, he's aging like wine. He's still productive. He's still a tough out. He's just really such a smart player that he's really hard to get out. Scope, he's going to give you the power a second. Hopefully he can give them some power numbers and they can flip them at the deadline to get a prospect or two. So how the rotation goes, it's a lot of guys we've seen. Boyd, Turnbull, Fulmer, we've seen them around here for a while. Again, if you're the Tigers, you're hoping one of them. Boyd was a commodity last season. They didn't flip him. We'll see what they do this season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure for the Tigers. This obviously isn't their year, but they're geared towards the future, which is always nice to see. As you mentioned, plenty of great prospects, but the lineup isn't their worst. I mean, last year was a lot worse. The offseason definitely helped them. Robbie Grossman is a very underrated outfielder, in my opinion. He can hit for average. His speed is good enough to, stretch a single into a double and so on. So I don't mind him. He'll probably be in the leadoff spot. I think Renato Nunez, cheap deal, minor league deal, non-roster invitee. I think he makes the team out of camp. And we saw what he can do offensively with the O's. I don't know why no one signed him to a major league deal. Didn't really see a downside for that, but glad the Tigers were able to finesse him off the market. As you mentioned, Candelario is great. I like their bench. Nico Goodrum and Victor Reyes. Victor Reyes is a switch hitter. Nico Goodrum showed some promise. Him and Candelario are a little similar in my opinion. I do like what I see from the Tigers moving forward. Those are young guys that can get it done. we'll go straight. Actually, we'll hit the rotation first. Matthew Boyd, he had a down year last year, I want to say, but the year before was promising. Spencer Turnbull doesn't impress me. Michael Fulmer, that doesn't really do it for me either. Jose Urena, the Marlins let him go for a reason. And Teheran is expected to be their 5-starter out of camp, which if he can go back to his old Braves ways where he was still a little inconsistent, but he has something left to give. I think I want to say he's only like 30 or 31. He's a lot younger than I thought he was. Who knows about that rotation, but the rotation of the future for the Tigers looks really bright. Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Bo Burrows, 3 solid prospects among the top in baseball. What are your thoughts on their farm system?
Yeah, I love the high end arms they attack. For years they were attacking these high end right handed arms, these power guys. Mize was absolutely amazing at Auburn. I think he's going to come in and be a staple of this rotation. Manning and Burrows are going to be good pitchers as well. I think all three have a good chance of pitching together at the end of the year in Detroit.
Yeah, and then the bullpen has some promise too. Tyler Alexander, he's on the younger side. He had a really good year last year. Gregory Soto has some kind of potential, and Joe Jimenez, he's been their best reliever the past couple of years. He's not Josh Hader level, but he can get you some outs when it matters most. I don't mind this Tigers team for where they're at. I still think they're a bottom dwelling team until next year or maybe in a couple of years where based on this farm system, they could really give it a shot. Pacoda also agrees it's not their year, has them at 65 wins. Jamil, over or under?
I'm gonna go under. I just think they're gonna get hit around a little bit, and then they're gonna call these guys up, and then they're not gonna come in and start throwing 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs to start off. They're gonna have to learn how to pitch to major leaguers. I think that's gonna have them lose a couple games as well.
Yeah, once again, kind of like the Orioles in the East, it's kind of the short end of the stick. You have teams that are growing immensely in quality, and the Tigers just didn't grow as much as they should. They grew, but they're really not where any of the other 4 teams are. Even if the Indians did what they did, trading Lindor and Carrasco, they're still not nearly as poor as the Tigers. But like I said, the future's bright in Detroit. Tigers fans, just wait it out a couple more years and you might be back somewhere. But yeah, I'm going to take the under on that 65 wins. And that's it. That's it for the AL Central. Catch me tomorrow. RJ joins me for the AL West. We'll be talking Trout, Altuve, all kinds of guys like that. But for Jamil King, I've been Matthew Perry for GMs for Hire. We'll see you guys next time.